Hi guys and girls, thanks for clicking on this video and giving some non-magic related content a try. Before I get into the meat of the video, I just wanted to say that if you already have Star Citizen, or if this video inspires you to give it a try, go to greatnate.com and find my Facebook icon. From there you can send me a message, let me know, and we can fly together. We can actually multi-crew a ship together, which is something I'd really like to try. And that's what this video is about. It's gonna be showing you this multi-crewed ship. Also, if this video inspires you to try it and you haven't already, I'm gonna put a referral code in the description of this video, and that will give you and me, I think it's like 5,000 internet space bucks or whatever it is, that we'll be able to use to do some things in the game. I'm not really sure. I don't really know exactly how it works. All I know is that we both benefit. So that being said, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in just a second. Hello and welcome everyone. I'm Nathan, and today I have something a little bit different for you. Today I have Star Citizen. Star Citizen is a science fiction MMORPG like universe simulator. And in fact, when I was a kid, I had this idea that there would be something called the Everything game one day, and it would be a game about everything. You could be, you know, in a city or in a home, and if you got in a car, you could drive around that city. And if you got in a plane, you could fly in that city. If you got in a spaceship, you could fly around the city and then fly into space, or fly to the moon, or fly into a solar system and then down to that planet and into that city and into another home. And it would really just be a game about everything. And Star Citizen is probably the first game that I've ever seen that comes anywhere close to this funny idea that I had as a kid of the Everything game. The flickering will stop in a second. I think that happened in this game in the beginning, ever since I installed the SLI video cards. Anyway, so the thing is, I'm not going to dive deep into the game. I just want to do like a 10-minute video if I can, and I just want to show you how amazingly beautiful the game already is, and also just give you a sense of the level of immersion that's possible in the game, and hopefully a sense of the potential that this game has, because it is very much an alpha. We're selecting the Constellation Andromeda as our ship. The game is very much an alpha. It's very buggy. The Constellation Andromeda is essentially, to me, the Millennium Falcon of Star Citizen. It is a multi-crew ship. It has turrets at the top and bottom, just like the Falcon. It has cargo space, just like the Falcon. It is modular. It's multi-role. And it seems like something that would just make an awesome experience to play with your friends. And this is it. I think the ship looks sweet. It's definitely unique. They have their own look here. By the way, if you didn't notice, we're just on the flight deck of a giant space station. But let's just get into the business end of the ship right away. Now, one of the things that I love about Star Citizen is how seamless it is. We're essentially in a first-person shooter right now. I have a gun. I can't pull it out because we're in something called an armistice zone. They block roads. But we seamlessly go from what is essentially a first-person game into a flight sim. But the coolest thing is, we don't just jump in the ship. It's not like you run up to your ship and you're like, fly, and suddenly you're piloting. Oh no. You can go through this ship in first person, just witness how awesome the design work is, the color, everything, all the way up until you jump in the pilot seat. And they pay attention to so many details in the game. Everything is designed with something in mind, and even the startup sequence. Watch, things come down.
Welcome to
little hiccup there.
Enjoy the ride. System check.
We're ready to go. Let's check the outside of the ship. Why don't we hit our vertical thrusters? And let's just punch it. Alright, so let's just pick a random spot in space here, because I want to like show you the ship, but I don't want to get shot. So let's just go go this way into hyperspace.
Quantum drive is now on.
Just kind of want to get in the middle of nowhere. Just gonna drop out here.
Quantum drive is now off.
Ship will stop, and so we are effectively in a first-person. We're effectively like in a space game right now. We can see the outside of our ship. Check it out. Watch it spin around. But we can also control the pilots. And unlike most space games, you're not just locked to being in your seat. Like I said, the game is seamless. You are a person in the universe, and you can interact with everything. So this is the Constellation Andromeda. I don't know why the engine sound is so loud right now. It isn't usually. I apologize for that. There's nothing I can do about it, but just the ship looks ridiculous. You know, there's an area to sit here. This is the airlock that we came in at. They've said that when, you know, you're in heavy combat, your crew will be able to come up and like quickly repair different components of the ship, avionics, shields. You know, let me show you something really quick, something I pointed out before. If you hop in one of these other seats that isn't the pilot seat, you will actually, you get your own console where you can manage components of the ship. Now, things can be done all from the captain's chair, but it's obviously beneficial if, as the pilot, you get to focus
System
on...
critical. Stand by for shields.
If you get to focus on flying and shooting, and somebody else can come in here and say, okay, you know, I'm gonna modulate the shields to the front. And, you know, I don't know. Obviously, not everything here is interacted yet, but you see damage coming from the rear, you can move the shield modulation to the rear. Obviously, it's still an alpha, so this will grow, but the point is, you know, everybody can have just different jobs. And instead of having to micromanage everything, see, you can see I'm going to move everything to the front. The shield charges start changing. So let's hop out of that. But obviously, you know, there's a lot to be gained if, rather than have to mess with weapon charge rates or weapon power, shield power, you can just have somebody do it. So this is the rest of the ship. I forget what these are going to be. These over here are like sleeping quarters. We also have the cargo bay area, and in one version of the ship, there's actually a vehicle here that you can land on a planet, drop it down, and then drive it around on said planet. This is an airlock. We can check that out in a little bit. But one of the things that I think is awesome on this version of the Constellation is there is another ship in this ship. And because I don't have anybody to fly with, by the way, contact me on Facebook if you have Star Citizen and we can fly this thing around. Maybe it would be different if the ship was on, but you can get in the ship, you can undock from the big ship, fly around it, redock. You know, if you guys get in like a dogfight, combat, and there's a bunch more maneuverable ships, this ship can undock and clearly get smaller and more agile. So that is just insane to me. Just the fact that it's insane to me that we're walking around in a ship, and that if we get out of the ship, then we will be walking around in space. In fact, why don't I... Well, here, I'll tell you, before I show you that, let me just show you this, because I think this is cool. These are the top and bottom turrets. So not only can you have people managing, you know, engineering systems or shield systems or gun systems, you can have your friends man the turrets. And because the ship isn't technically on, powered up or whatever, and nobody's in the pilot seat, I can't shoot anything. But these are turrets, just like in the Millennium Falcon, and you can shoot people. You see the targets that are selected. You get your little different reticles to help you lead. One of the things they said they're adding to the game is another like indicator that shows you how your ship is oriented versus your guns, just to help you aim. Yeah, so there's a top and bottom turret. They're both essentially the same. And, you know, another cool thing is just, you will be able to, like, load and unload cargo in space. So if we jump down here and activate the cargo floor, this might get a little wonky because sometimes the games you can have trouble differentiating still between, are you in ship gravity or now we're floating, are you in EVA mode? But there is the P-52 Merlin. That's the ship we were just looking at. It is nestled in here. Nestled. Is nestled a word? But it's kind of... Ooh. Okay, so had a little bug there. Got us back to where we were. Like I said, the game is in alpha. Anyway, as I was saying, this is the P-52 Merlin, which is the ship that is docked with a larger ship that you can fly around in and protect your bigger ship. Just probably do lots of things with. And this is our ship, and we're really like, you know, that's, you know, we're somebody else walking around in the interior of the ship. We'd be floating on the outside, and we would see them. And you know, I don't know how they did this in the game engine, but I just think it's fantastic. You know, the damage modeling is also pretty sweet. You can see dents on the ship or like blast off various panels and things. Yeah, there you go. Like pieces will fly off and like, are they gonna hit us? Oh gosh. Okay, it didn't. Can you still shoot it? I wonder. Maybe not. Anyway, yeah. So this, you know, if I was to get, say, in your ship and we flew away, my ship would still just be sitting here, and if we came back to it, then I could get back in and fly it off. And I really love, like, that makes me feel more immersed. And I think it's awesome. Now, one of the things I know that you can do, and I don't want to do it because there's some issues, but you can, you know, open and close airlocks and whatnot. But I've done this before, and the transition from space back into the ships doesn't always work as you would expect it to. Let's see if I can close this door. Yeah. So I don't really want to enter that way. I think I'd have more success by just EVAing back down here to the cargo hatch, or cargo hold, I guess, and just going in this way. See, it's kind of having some struggles. Am I in gravity? Am I EVAing? Am I in the ship? Am I out? I'm in. Okay, so let's climb up here. That was awkward. Can I just jump up? Do I have to like hit use? Okay. Yeah, so that's kind of, you know, I guess there's one other small thing I can show you. And if the game crashes before I get there, then I'll just, or if something happens, then I'll just, oh, that's the back of the ship. Let's just get up here. Hop here in the old captain's chair. Now, like I said, the game's in alpha, and before, if I had flown somewhere and somebody jumped in my ship and stole it, nothing, there was no consequence. But I believe now, if they steal it,
System critical. Stand by for shields.
they get some kind of some flagging or something. Alright, so let's find Comare. Because when you do missions in Star Citizen, unlike, say, other space games you might be used to,
Quantum drive is now on.
if they're like, we need you to go repair Comare, you don't actually, like, you don't just fly up to it, hit a button to bring up a dialogue, like, menu box.
Quantum drive is now off.
You
Radar
actually,
contact. Radar contact. Stand by.
I feel like
Scanning.
somebody's getting shot over there.
Stand by. Scanning.
Wait,
Radar contact.
those guys are red. That means they're technically bad guys. I don't think I'm skilled enough to kill them. If they're red, I guess that means I can shoot them. They're shooting at me.
Front shield damaged. Enemy down.
Alright, we'll just run into you. We're in a gigantic ship.
Front shield damaged. Stand by.
I didn't plan for this, but we'll just go with it.
Stand by. Forward shield. Rear shield damaged. Enemy down.
Like, I think that we're probably gonna die. I don't know what I'm doing. And my frame rates are kind of low. Oh my gosh, there's a space station. How do I get around this thing? Let's fly this way sideways.
Stand by. Forward shield. Stand by. Forward shield.
And
Forward shield damaged.
hit something. Okay, well, I didn't get to show you what I was going to show you. I think I see. I ran into the space station. Combat around objects in Star Citizen is actually quite challenging because your ship doesn't fly like an airplane. Like, the thrusters on the ship slow. Like, if you're flying straight and you turn, your ship will just keep sliding until the thrusters can compensate. So there's a lot of use in Star Citizen of something called space brake, which when you press space bar, it just tries to automatically use the thrusters just to redirect or to like counteract whatever momentum you have. And then there's also the afterburner, and a lot of times you will like face the other direction and then hit your afterburner to like manually force it to, you know, bleed off speed and turn. And I just dabble, not very good at it, and I've never flown a ship that big, so
Please press the screen to
that's really it. This is the live server. This is, you know, there's also other modes in the game. I'll just show you really quick. Like, there's sort of a deathmatch mode, if you will, where you can get a combat ship and do deathmatch type stuff. If you go over to electronic access, and Star Marine's going to come out at some point. That's going to be like first-person shooter deathmatch. But if you go here, you have the option to select either drone sim, which is like AI, or spectrum match, which is real people. In these different modes, they have either you can race people. They have a race course. I'm really bad at racing. They have cooperative vandals form, which is where you team up with somebody and you fight drones. They have squadron battles, free flight, and various just other game modes. Battle royales, like, yeah, everybody fights everybody. But, you know, like I said, I'm not trying to show you guys every bit of the game. I really just wanted to give you guys a sense of, just to me, how much potential is there, the seamlessness, the immersion. I just wanted to keep this video to 10 minutes. I already think it's probably been closer to 15 or 20, so I'm going to go ahead and end it here. And I'm going to tack this onto the front of the video as well, but I'm going to give you guys a code. If Star Citizen is something you want to try, if you use the code, I think then I get like some space bucks or something like that at some point in the game. And I would appreciate it. And like I said, if you want to play together and maybe try multi-crewing that ship I showed you, go to greatnate.com, click on my little Facebook box somewhere on there, and send me a message, and we can link up in game and try something out. Alright guys, well, as always, thank you for watching. Draw well, smash face, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.